Hello everyone and welcome back to Immigrate with French. In this video we'll talk about the French accents, what they are, how they sound, and how to use them. So, in a previous video we talked about the alphabet and we said that the French letters are exactly the same like English letters. However, once you see any French text you realize that the letters don't look exactly the same. And the reason of this is that there are accents. There are accents on the letters. So accents en français, we call it accent. And what are the accents in French? We have 5 types of accents in French. So let's get started. The first accent is accent aigu. Accent aigu, notice the direction of accent aigu because the next accent will be in an opposite direction. Accent aigu happens or is placed only on the letter E. It gives bright, clear sound to letter E. It gives the sound like A if it's in the beginning or the middle of the word. And you will notice that if this E accent aigu is at the end of the word, it's going to give a lengthier sound. Let's see these examples. École, éléphant, café. Notice in the last word café how this accent or E accent aigu gives this lengthy sound. So this café, this sound is because of the E accent aigu. If it was just E, you would have stopped. You would say caf, but no, because E accent aigu is there, we are going to say café. Now let's repeat them one more time. École, éléphant, café. Now it's your turn. Can you read these words? Now let's see the next accent. The next accent is called accent grave. Accent grave is the opposite direction to the accent aigu, and it is placed on letters A, E, and U. When accent grave is placed on letter E, it changes the sound. Phonetics describe it as a more open sound. It becomes more like A. So this is called a more open sound. Let's see some examples. Père, mère, très. Again, père, mère, très. This is when it's on the E. When it's on the A and U, it usually does not change the sound. However, it can change the meaning of the word. For example, let's see these 2 words. La and la. The first one with the accent grave means there, whereas the second one without accent means the. This difference, in this case, the accent grave is what differentiates these 2 words. Another one, ou and ou. Both are pronounced ou. However, the first one with the accent means where, and the second one means or. So repeat after me one more time. Père, mère, très, la, ou. Now it's your turn. Can you read these words? The next accent is accent circonflexe, and accent circonflexe are cute little hats that appear on letters A, E, I, O, and U. They don't change pronunciation. The reason there is accent circonflexe is that historically, for some words in Old French, there used to be an S. What happened is that they decided to remove this S and they put an accent circonflexe on the letter before it. This is the case in words like forêt, hôpital, hôtel. This is not the only reason, or this is not the only use. However, it's also used to differentiate or to change the meaning of the word, like the previous accent. For example, these 2 words. These 2 words are pronounced as mur. However, the first one means wall. The second one means ripe. The next example, sur. The first one without accent means on, and the second one means sure or certain. So it can differentiate also the meaning of the words. So accent circonflexe is not so much about the differentiating the sound as much as it's about the presence of a historical S or differentiating the words. Now let's read them one more time. Forêt, hôpital, hôtel, mur, sur. One more time. Forêt, hôpital, hôtel, mur, sur. Now it's your turn. Can you read these words on your own? Now the next accent is a bit rare in Francais. It's called accent tréma. Accent tréma looks simply like two dots and it appears on letters E, E, and U. The function of accent tréma is that when it appears on these letters, then in this case we know that we are going to pronounce this vowel separately from the vowel before it. Usually when you have two vowels in a row, we usually kind of link them or merge them in pronunciation. However, this is not the case when you have accent tréma. When you have accent tréma, you have to pronounce each one, or you have to pronounce especially the one on which accent tréma is clearly and separate from the previous one. Let's see these examples. Noël, Haïti, maïs. See in each one how the letter on which or the vowel on which accent tréma is placed is pronounced separately. Now let's repeat one more time. Noël, Haïti, maïs. Now it's your turn. Can you pronounce these words on your own? Now to the last accent, and it is called la cédille, like a small hook or small number 5 below the say. And when we have cédille, it means that this is going to give the s sound. So en français, say sometimes gives the k sound or the s sound, exactly the way it is in English. Like sometimes we see c in English like cat, and sometimes we see the c in English like necessary. So it gives both k and s sound. The same way is en français. However, if it's cédille, it means that it's going to give the s sound always. Let's see these examples. Garçon, leçon, français. Please repeat after me one more time. Garçon, leçon, français. Now it's your turn. Can you read these words? Well done. Okay. Now, many people wonder, do I have to get every single accent correctly? They seem like quite confusing for me. So let me tell you this, the more or the higher your level in French, the fewer mistakes you will be making. So if we have an A1 student, he will be making way more mistakes than a B1 student. B1 will be making more mistakes than a B2 student. So as your language level increases, or as your level in the language increases, the number of mistakes regarding the accent decreases. So our goal is that we should study very well and that we should practice by writing so that we get used to writing the accent. As you have seen today, the accents are a very important part of the French language. They are not just decorations. As you have seen, they can even change the meaning of a word. So it's really important to study them and to master how we place them. So we shouldn't also be like either writing without accent at all, or after we finish, we just sprinkle some random accent here and there to just, make it look like French text. No, it shouldn't be one of these two. So we should do our best to learn all the accent. However, don't worry, we are not expecting perfection, and few errors will not be a hindrance in achieving the NCLC 7 and above. So let's try to do our best. However, we are not going to ignore it altogether, but let's try to do our best. I hope this has been helpful, and I hope now you know the 5 accents or the 5 accents in French. And if you have any question, let me know in the comments and I'll get back to you. I'll see you in the next video. A bientôt. Thanks for watching. Preparing for TEF Canada exam? Subscribe now for more weekly tips.